Mhm.
Is this on? Okay. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. And we will start with a roll call.
All right. Vice Chair Gardner,
Present?
Committee Member Markham,
Present.
Committee Member Ilera,
Present.
Committee Member St. John, and Committee Member Simmons, or Chair Simmons. Yeah. Is absent. All right, back to the acting chair.
Okay. Who would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance? All right. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Does anybody have any special announcements they'd like to make at this time? Okay. Nothing for today. All right. Do we have any communications from the floor? No?
Anybody on?
Not live. All right. Is there any ex parte communications that any of us would like to note during this meeting?
I did meet with Chair Simmons on October 29th at Lock Padden Park. Nothing directly related to tree committee action items, but we did discuss some of the tree conditions at Lock Padden Park.
Okay.
I need a second.
I second.
Is that enough?
Just make a quick roll call.
Okay.
Uh,
All in favor?
yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Jeff?
Aye.
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 And I.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the public hearing portion of our meeting. And if anybody in the audience would like to say anything, you have 3 minutes to.
Through the chair. Sorry. Typically, you ask for staff report first and then open up to the public hearing. So you as the chair introduce the item, like, the title on the agenda is adequate for introducing the item, and then you ask staff for a short presentation, and then you open up for public testimony. Thanks.
Or you say park removal and your report from Allison.
Thank you very much, Chair and members of the committee and members of the public in the audience. This tree removal permit involves the removal of 7 lollipop trees from the public right-of-way surrounding the south and east perimeter of Gloria Jean Tate Park. So these trees are actually located in the road right-of-way. They're not within the park proper. You do have a arborist report from a certified ISA arborist from Denise Duffy and Associates in your packet. And it includes all of the requirements of our tree preservation ordinance. And generally speaking, this permit includes the removal of 7 trees, but only 2 of those 7 trees are found to be in fair or better condition. And under our ordinance, it's only the fair or better condition that needs to be replaced. So this project will result in will result in the 2-to-1 ratio as required for a total of 4 tree replacements. The staff report includes 4 different species that are recommended by the arborist for replacement, but I do also want to point out that the city recently has been gifted quite a few. I forget off the top of my head, but when the project engineer for this comes up after I'm done with my presentation, she might be able to tell us how many trees, but we were gifted quite a few Western rosebud and toyon trees from PG&E. So those can be used in either of these 2 project sites that you're going to hear tonight. So those are other options to use for replacement if your committee so desires. That is really it in a nutshell. This committee is making a recommendation in this case to the city council because the final approval of the tree removal is connected to the bid process for the whole park renovation, which the engineer can go into a little bit further if you need that information. And I think with that, I will invite LV Camacho, is our city contract engineer with Wallace Group. And she's the project engineer and can answer any additional questions that you might have.
Chairman and members of the tree committee, staff, and public. Thank you. My name is Elvi Camacho and I'm from Wallace Group and I'm the program management services for the city. So this is a project, it's a Gloria Jean Tate Park Improvement Phase 2. This includes installation of parking, dog park, a lawn, and connecting pathways around inside the park. You will have also a play area, a fitness area, picnics, and pavilions. The areas where the trees will be removed will be an entry to the park along Reservation Road. And it will be like a plaza to enter into the park. And we're hoping that we could get an approval from you so that we could go to the city council on, I think, November 19 to call for bids for the project in order for us to start construction early next year. So if you have any further question, I'll be happy to answer if I have the information. Thank you.
Committee, do you have any questions for her?
Has there been a landscaping plan? I saw the overall topological plan. Is there a landscaping plan as well? I'm not sure I saw it there.
I brought with me a copy. Unfortunately, I didn't send it to Allison so you could see it, but I could give it to you so you could see it. This is kind of like the illustrative plan. So.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry, it's in the agenda.
Oh, did you have the plan?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you don't mind, I could show you. And I
Yes.
could pass it around with the colorful one.
It's the color will help.
This- I can read this one. Yeah, yeah,
it's a-
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I guess for staff, the trees that are being gifted, the suitability of that species, those species to the site, is that, are they applicable?
Uh, my understanding is the Toyon is suitable for this site being as close as it is to the ocean and the wind and everything.
Right.
I don't believe, I'm not an arborist, but from what I've talked with Patrick and others, that the Western redbud, sorry, I think I said rosebud earlier. Redbud is better inland, farther, farther away
That would
from
be more like a
coastal.
Preston site type.
That's what I'm thinking.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions?
I had just, I think just one clarification. The 7 lollipop trees that are to be removed, they're pretty much around what the southern perimeter. Oh,
They're on the southern, the reservation road frontage and that Cardoza corner, but then also there are 2 up at Cardoza and Drew Street. I think Abdi, yeah. So there are just 2 up at the north corner.
and the reason for the removal is that they're in the way of construction for the renovation and upgrading.
Correct.
Okay. And of those 7 to be removed, 2 are healthy, they're arborist deemed as healthy, and 5, for lack of a simpler term, non-healthy.
They're in poor condition,
Poor-
according
okay,
to the
poor
arborist.
condition.
Yes.
And so the rules are that the poor condition or non-healthy trees only have to be replaced on a 1-to-1 basis.
They don't have to be replaced.
Oh, not at all.
Correct. Only,
Oh.
only trees with a ranking of fair or better are required to be replaced under our code.
But the renovation plan includes a lot of tree planting.
Yes.
So it's kind of a moot point on these 7. It's really a non-issue other than to get a permit to remove them.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just looking at numbers, they'll be replaced like dozens fold, like, many,
30 to
many
1.
to 1 ratio. Yeah.
That was all I needed, was just some clarification. So I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that answers all of our questions.
Not from staff. You do have a member of the audience who might want to provide testimony on this item.
Would you like to speak on the subject? Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I saw the lights now. Yeah, it's because you can show the map on the screen, so you can easily point out which trees you're going to replace, which trees you're not. They're just around there. Yeah, that's just my remarks. I mean, so. we can know
So-
better. And then the second question is, You said yeah, by the next year and, what time you think you will finish this thing? Next year, what time?
That would be a question for the engineer. So let me tell you which trees are gonna be replaced.
Yeah, the map is there.
It is tree 553 and tree
Anybody knows the number?
533.
I don't.
Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry to help you.
No, I mean, I know you marked on the circle already. That's the card I received. Okay, very clear, but I do not know which one you're going to replace, which one is not.
Right. So
And,
we're zooming in on the map so you can, so the
Okay.
red C533, that one's going to be
This is
replaced.
Cardoza.
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah, this is where the kids playground is.
Yes. So that one's going to be replaced.
Because I went there to see which trees. I live close by. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
just curious and.
And then 535 is the other one that will be replaced.
And here has no gate goes into the park.
Right. So they won't necessarily be replaced in that location. They'll be replaced elsewhere in the park where it makes sense. Because the trees are being removed here because that's going to be a new entrance.
Oh.
So they'll be somewhere else in the park.
And how many trees altogether are going in on the park?
6.
It's like 36, but,
Yeah, it's,
So they will be replaced for sure. There's going to be more
Yes.
trees than there is now. And that's probably your concern is they're taking trees out and you don't know if they're going to be replaced.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yes.
easily to point out for us to know which trees
Mhm.
potentially will be replaced.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Two different type of tree, I mean, two different condition of the trees.
yeah.
Some of should be.
And we're going to pick out trees that are good for that area. It's very
Are
windswept.
you going to
and
do
so
other 30-some trees together or just?
They're all over. And she does have a map that shows you all the different places they're going to go in. That'll help you.
So this is
Yeah,
the
you're the
left.
expert.
Oh, you come over here. Because I don't know if you, do you have a copy of this one?
Black and white one.
Okay, so I will show you this. So this is the park.
Mm.
So basically this will have all trees in here,
Mm.
all over the inside of the park.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know on top of my head the total number of trees, but definitely it's more than 30, I think. So, yeah.
Then my next level question is this how's the priority of the city's point of view? Yeah, I mean, how important this project is. It's very critical because it costs money and, it's, money is always limited for a little city.
So yeah, that is a city council. Would you mind turning off that
Yes.
button there? Okay. That is a city council priority. So typically, just as a training moment, we don't have back and forth conversations with the public. But this LV, the city engineer, will be taking this item to the city council to put the final decision on going out for the bid for the contractor to do all this plan, all this upgrades to the park. So it is a very high priority. They're budgeting it right now. You're welcome.
That's all.
Thank you so much. Okay. Are we now to vote?
So now the next step is to bring it back for discussion. If anyone wants to discuss or make comments, and then after the discussion, then you can call for
Okay.
a
Is there any
motion.
discussion from the committee? Is everybody fine? And I need a motion now. Is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
who would like to make a motion to approve?
I will make a motion if you put it on the screen.
Sure. 1 second.
First page of your staff report under recommendation.
Sorry, this is my draft minutes. It's on your screen now, Richard.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't read this second part. There you go.
Okay.
You would say I make a motion, but
I make a motion to recommend that the city council approve the removal of 7 lollipop trees within the public right-of-way adjoining Gloria Jean Tate Park as part of the overall redevelopment of the park. Trees characterized as healthy will be replaced at a ratio of 2-to-1. This project is exempt from environmental review per section 15304 of the CEQA guidelines.
Sorry. I almost called you commissioner, always like. Member St. John, if you would just add to that, that the permit is subject to the findings and conditions of approval and the class 4 CEQA exemption.
Okay, in addition, the permit is subject to the findings, conditions of approval, and
The class 4 CEQA
the class
exemption.
4 CEQA.
Thank you.
Yeah, second.
I second. I second.
Aye.
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 Motion has passed. Our second item for today is Preston Park tree removal, and you have that in your minutes. Would the staff like to give us the details?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. For this item, this is another tree removal permit, this time to take place at Preston Park Ball Field, so another city-owned property. This project includes the removal of 5 trees. 3 of the trees are in fair condition, so that would result in a total replacement of 6 trees. These trees, as noted in the arborist report, again prepared by Denise Duffy and Associates and included in your packet, these trees are either directly impinging on the ballpark's fields themselves and the existing improvements, or else they're in the way of future improvements. And one of the key items on this one is there are a couple of trees, I think 1 or 2 trees that are in fair condition, but they have large roots that are encroaching into the ball fields. And as the ball fields get completely resurfaced, they will be in the way of safety for activities and things going on out there. And I did ask the arborist if it would be possible just to trim the roots of these trees instead. And he felt that they are significant roots, and if he trimmed the roots, the trees would eventually die. So it is, within this committee's purview to make a recommendation if it felt it was necessary to trim the roots instead of removing the trees right now, but we would just need to come back at a later time to go through this again once, the trees begin to fail. Also, one of those trees is leaning substantially, and if the roots were cut, it's not going to have any more stability, and the arborist felt like it would definitely be a falling hazard. But this is a similar situation. We will have an opportunity to use again those PG&E trees, and like we discussed on the other project, this might be a more appropriate place for the western red bud to be utilized. This arborist report, I don't think actually made a recommendation for replanting like the other one did. But you all are familiar with the trees in the city's preferred guidelines, so If you wanted to go with something other than the Western Redbud or Toyon, that's your prerogative and you could include that in your motion. And again, LB Camacho is the city's engineer on this project as well. She's available to answer any additional questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, I would love to hear your opinion on these.
So the Preston ball field upgrade is to improve the existing two ball fields. Basically, we're gonna be removing the existing lawn in there and putting a new one, including the irrigation. We're gonna be putting in new brick dust, I guess. I'm not a player, so bear with me because I don't know the terms, but we will be replacing all the perimeter fencing with the taller fencing. We will be replacing the existing back fencing with a taller one so that the backfield, I think, is what determined. So we will be replacing that with like I think 16 feet tall of chain link fence, and then we will have a 14 feet netting on top. So the removal of these trees are necessary because big roots are on the foul areas, and it's a trip hazard. And I did discuss this with Denise Duffy. Patrick, and can we just cut the roots? And basically he said you could. However, these are major roots. The tree will eventually die. And one of the tree is right where the parking lot and it's already leaning. And he said that once we cut that major roots, there's a tendency to come down and it could be a safety hazard for everyone. So basically that's the gist. We will be removing the fence and making the ball field a better ball field than what it is now. So this is also the first phase for the Preston Park improvements. There will be a second phase, which will be the expansion, but we will come to you on a later days on that one. So if you have any question, I'll be happy to answer them.
Does the committee have any questions?
There's not a lot of area to replant in here, and so is that why there's not a planting schedule as there was for Gloria Jean Tate Park?
Because the project is basically just to refurbish the existing park.
Okay.
So it's not like an extensive park development type. Probably the next phase will do that because we're putting in a new ball field, parking. So the landscaping will be incorporated on that job. This one is basically, trying to remove the hazard that's, inside the existing ball field. So.
So the additional trees because of root intrusion, how
Correct.
many? Two, an additional? So a total of 5 trees, is it?
3 trees are in fair or better condition
Two
on
that-
this
two that
one.
weren't.
2 that are poor.
2 are poor,
Yeah.
3 are fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
So they'll be looking to replace 6
6
or
trees.
a
Total of
replacement
6.
of 6.
Okay.
I have questions. On number 591 and 593 are substantial trees. They're really, to the untrained eye, are fairly good condition. And you're saying that the roots, and I know you all asked about it, because the roots are at the surface. They are not on the ball field. They're way at the very sides, but they're only about 2 inches above soil level. I just don't see that would be that hard to take those out because these
Mhm.
trees have tap roots going down. They're surface roots. And I know that's what the arborist is saying, but
Yeah,
I just
this
look
is,
at it and-
that's the same reaction when I saw it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he has the trained eyes
Mhm.
to see it, and he said, look at the trees already leaning, and once you take these major roots, it will come down eventually. So,
Well, my question is maybe we could remove the roots because the project's not starting yet. See how the tree does without those surface roots.
mhm.
To me, these are substantial trees. 591, I can see what did it say. It's like 50 feet tall. It's probably a 50-year-old tree.
If I might, through the chair, you could have that as a condition and we could move forward with that with the understanding that if the tree does fail, you know, it would be coming back. I am just noting that the plan does call for the removal of an inch of that top dirt skin, they call it.
Mhm.
So there will be some grading happening, which would then expose that root a little bit more. I don't know if that would cause any additional damage to the root. But it is within the committee's purview to make that condition. And I will, just because this permit is a little bit different in who the final decision maker is, this one is identified on the city's capital improvement program. So it's a different financial pathway than the Gloria Jean Tate. And the community development director is actually the final decider on this one. So your committee would be making a recommendation to the community development director. So you could make a recommendation in your resolution that says, we recommend that the subject roots of those two trees be trimmed and kind of just see what happens. But then it will be up to the director to take that into consideration and make the final decision.
My other thought was altering the level of the excavation and adding to it rather than taking it down. I'm not an expert on all this, but it's such a minor amount of root exposure.
Well, you cannot, for my understanding and also for my experience, they cannot just cut a root like that. For them, when they cut it to ensure better survival of the tree, they have to cut it clean cut all the
Mhm.
way down, take
Yes.
it out. And, and that, actually Patrick said we could do that. However, I don't guarantee that the tree will survive. And my concern with that tree 591 is right where the parking lot is. Cause if we cut the tree and there's like a wind and it could come down to a vehicle, then we're exposing the city to a
Mhm.
liability. The other one though that I did discuss with him is the cutting of the limb, which is tree 594. I think that one, and just we could probably trim that, and because it's not the roots, it's more the limb that's on the
Mhm. And one side of
fall
that
area.
tree looks like it's dying though. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm
okay. Does the committee have any more comments on this? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Just, this is for staff. What is the timing on the Preston Park ballparks?
That's actually an LV question.
This project is actually, we're trying to accelerate the project construction wise, because the recreational director, I think there is an event, because she wants this to be completed by March of 2025. So we're looking at probably using our on-call contractor to do the work.
Okay.
So.
We're talking warp speed on this one. Okay.
So,
Baseball season.
yeah.
Right, so we want to, this is pedal
The
to
final-
pedal.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
It's time for motion, right? Okay,
Comment?
now we're open to public comment at this moment. Okay, we have no public comment.
Sure.
See if anybody's interested. I can make a motion.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion for the committee to take in consideration of 591 and 593 to remove the roots and see if the tree survives. And I think that's all I want on the motion. Is that okay?
Let me pull up the, um, pull up the rest of the motion for you. 1 second.
Don't have that.
So then, if you just want to read number 2 on here, and then you can add that last bit to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adopt TC Resolution 2024-06, Exhibit A, recommending that the committee development director approve the removal of 3 trees and number 591 and 593, removing the root structure to see if the trees survive. So, oh, I don't see subject. Oh, subject to findings, conditions of approval, and a class 4, section 15304, CEQA exemption for minor alterations to land.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the
Great.
altered motion passes.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so action items.
There are no action items tonight.
Okay,
I do have an update on one of our action items. It's not currently, we were going to bring it forth on this meeting, but the Chair Simmons was not here.
Yeah, you can give a little update on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did do some work on going through the codes and ordinances of our neighboring cities of Pacific Grove, Monterey, Seaside, and then contrasting that with Marina. I came up with 37 categories of those ordinances and then just did a comparison on it. And we will likely present that at our next meeting, just so we can see what Marina looks like relative to our sister cities.
thank you. Okay, as far as other items, we don't have any, but discussion items. Richard would like to comment. He has something to add.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if this is appropriate or inappropriate, but I would like to get the tree committee's opinion on a tree removal and replacement project that is in development stage at this time for the about a half a mile stretch of the road. A second, this is hard to read. It's in Sea Haven, Abrams Drive, from running basically kind of east-west direction from Imgen on the east to nearly Preston Park area or about a half a mile to the east. And what the problem is there's about 50 or so, nominally about 50 Monterey pine trees that are aged maybe between 20 and 25 years of growth. And the claim is that it's damaging the roots or damaging the sidewalks and the underground utilities. And so some of these trees are.
So just before you keep going, so speaking about this item, this may come before the tree committee as a future item.
Yeah.
I have staff is aware of these Monterey pines that are damaging the sidewalk and the utilities. And so I don't want to cause any Brown Act violations by speaking about it when it's not on the agenda. So I just recommend that it's best if you give direction to staff to bring it back rather than discuss it as a tree committee right now, just because I don't want to violate the Brown Act. So
What I was really looking for is recommendations on the replacement trees.
yeah, so within Sea Haven, with not going into this too deeply, they have their own tree list of recommended trees. So
Yeah, but they're not focused on the road, trees that border major boulevards.
Yeah,
for
so
instance, and-
So just to reiterate what Nick is saying, this isn't really an appropriate place to get into too many details about this.
Okay.
Like Nick said, we are actually in touch with the Sea Haven people
Developer.
undertaking this project right now, trying to determine if there is a tree permit required or if it falls under replacement trees some replacement of trees is allowed under the approved Sea Haven landscaping plan. And they have their own tree list. They specify trees that are appropriate for street trees, large street trees, small street trees, all kinds of
Mhm.
categories. So if it requires a tree permit, it'll be before your body. So we don't want to prejudice any former, future outcomes or discussion by going too deeply into it. But it might not be coming to this body. And this body is not in charge at this point of the the Sea Haven tree palette went to the planning commission for approval during the COVID time when the tree committee was not meeting. If the Sea Haven body wants to modify or amend that approved plan, then it would come back to the tree committee for a recommendation. But at this point, they're not looking to amend the list itself. We're just trying to work through the appropriate procedures for this street tree replacement.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you for clarifying that.
Sure.
I assume there's no correspondence?
Nope.
Right? Is there any more discussion or do I just go for an adjournment? Okay, I need a motion for adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, a second. Judith, would you like to second that? Okay. She just said. All right, adjourn. Thank you.